Hello guys, and welcome to Yoga for Techies, a channel dedicated to enhancing your digital well-being through the power of yoga. Today we are going to dive into a powerful practice that is tailor-made for you and your busy, fast-paced digital life. You see, in the modern life, we are racing against the clock. We're trying to meet the timelines. We have to answer to our bosses. We have busy work and home life, and we find ourselves under a lot of stress. Well, guess what? What if I told you that there's a simple 5-minute powerful technique that you can use right now, that I can teach to you right now, that you can use to center your mind into this space of inner calmness, remove the stress, and feel really grounded and really rejuvenate your spirit. And all it takes is 5 minutes. Unbelievable? Well, guess what? It actually does exist. And this practice is called Alternate Nostril Breathing. So in this video, I'm going to teach you the beginner or the easy version of this particular breath so that we can minimize the learning curve and get you up to speed very quickly. I will break down the steps, the timing of the breathing, of the inhalation and the exhalation. I'll talk about how to see it and what to expect. And once you learn the technique, I invite you to practice the breath with my guided video, which is available right here or in the description of this video. And if you like this video, feel free to hit the like button and subscribe so that you don't miss any future notifications from me and my tech-savvy yoga videos. So, let's go. Okay, so what do we need to practice alternate nostril breath? Well, obviously your hands and your nose, but before we get into that, it's important to sit properly. Like everything in yoga that has to do with breathing, it's very important to maintain a tall spine. And in order for us to sit with a tall spine, because we spend so much time sitting in our chairs and have very shortened hip flexors, we have to use some help, specifically, as we call them in yoga, props. So to help us here, I've got my friend bolster here, and if you don't have a bolster, you can use any pillow that is probably lying somewhere around in your house, or if you have practiced yoga before or have heeded my advice in my other yoga videos, and purchased yourself a yoga block, you can use a yoga block. Sitting on a block is a little bit more, it's not as comfortable as sitting on a pillow, but whatever you have in your hands, and maybe sometimes instead of a yoga block, you have a big book, you can use that as well. So the idea here is to sit on a pillow, and what it does is that it elevates your hips so that it releases the pressure from your lower back and naturally shifts your spine in such a way that your back is nice and tall. So just for comparison, if this is me sitting like this, you can see that my spine is curved. We don't want to be breathing like that. What we want to do here is put something behind our butts so that we can sit comfortably on top of that. And now it's much easier for me to keep the spine nice and tall. So find yourself a pillow, or as I said, a block, a yoga block, or your favorite programming book, and situate yourself sitting on top of that. Now, I have flexible hips because I've been doing yoga for quite some time. This may not look like this for you. It's okay if you just simply cross your legs at your ankles and sit like this. Remember, what is important is how tall your spine is. And just as an additional measure, just to make sure that you keep your spine tall, let's roll back the shoulders back, drive them downward, and slide the shoulder blades down the spine, and placing the hands on our laps or our knees. So this is the posture that you will be keeping for 5 or so minutes while you're doing the alternate nostril breath. Now that we've got the foundation of the sitting posture, let's talk about the technique. So you will be using your right hand. You can use your left hand. I'm a righty, so I naturally use righty. my right hand, but if you're lefty, you can use left hand. Doesn't really matter at this point. And you will specifically use your thumb and your pinky. Now, there's a number of different techniques. Some people go to war about what fingers to use during the alternate nostril breath. We're not going to worry about that, so just stick with my suggestion, the thumb and the pinky. And if you're really opposed to using your pinky finger for some reason, maybe use your index finger. Doesn't really matter at this point. And the idea is very simple. This is the sort of the beginner version of alternate nostril breath. So we are going to be breathing in through one nostril, the left nostril, and then breathing out through the same nostril. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side, breathing in through the right nostril, breathing out through the right. And then we're going to be using our fingers, our thumbs, and our pinky fingers to gently, very gently, press the side of our nostril so that we can block the air from entering the nostril. So if I want to breathe through the left nostril, I'm going to use my thumb to block the right nostril, so I can breathe to the left. And then I will use my pinky finger to block the left nostril so I can breathe in through the right and breathe out through the right nostril. That's the basic idea. Now, what's up with all of these nostrils? Why do we need to alternate them? The science behind this is very simple. In your body, you have two autonomous nervous systems, your ANSs. One of them is called the sympathetic system, which is actually not what it sounds. It's more like this is your fight or flight nervous system. This is where a tiger jumps at you or your boss yells at you at work and you're like, you're scrunching and you are either try to get out of this place or you're going to fight. So this is your body gets mobilized into this fight or flight reaction. Your cortisol gets injected into your bloodstream and you're really ready to go either this way or out of the door. So this is your sympathetic ANS. Now, on the other hand, you've got your parasympathetic ANS, which is your rest or digest system. This is the system that regulates our resting state, our digestion. So no wonder if you find yourself in a constant state of stress, you probably feel a little bit restless in your stomach. You don't want to eat, and that's because your fight or flight system is right here and your rest and digest system is right here. So the whole point of this exercise is to regulate them or balance them out. Remember, yoga is all about creating this balance. So we're balancing out our fight or flight system, and we're down regulating it, and we're up regulating our rest and digest system. And we're doing this through the alternate nostril breathing. And the reason why we're doing that is because our nostrils actually are linked to through our physiology, and they actually activate both of this system. So when you breathe through the left nostril, you are up regulating your rest and digest system, and when you breathe through the right nostril, you are up regulating your fight or flight system. So by bringing this breath, this balance of breath between the left nostril and the right nostril, what you will notice is your mind will slowly start settling in and your body will slowly drop into the state of calmness. Now, this is not something that happens 30 seconds in, maybe even a minute. It varies from individual to individual, varies through your particular physiology, the time of day, how stressful you are or how not stressful you are. So it really depends. But generally, I've observed that usually it takes about 5 minutes for an average person to feel the results. And you don't have to be an advanced yogi to be able to get there. Just patience, perseverance, 5 minutes, and you can pretty much guarantee that you will definitely feel something shifting in your mind. So let's give it a try. Now, before we actually give it a try, the typical question is, well, how long should I breathe in? So in the beginning, it doesn't really matter how long is your breath. So you can just close your nostril Breathe in for as long as you want or as long as you can, and then breathe out right away. Then close your nostril and do the same thing. At later stages, in later videos, I'll introduce different types of techniques where you're actually holding the breath and then you're holding it for different counts, a 4 count, maybe an 8 count. Remember, this is the easy version of this breathing technique, just to get you going on the journey of alternate nostril breathing so that you can distress yourself from your work. So let's do this together. So find your posture, make sure your spine is straight, roll back your shoulders, drive those shoulder blades down the spine, take out your right hand, and let's place our thumb onto our right nostril. Make sure that it's gently presses on the wall of the nostril. You don't have to really deform your nose by squeezing it too hard. And then gently take a breath in into your nose. And then let it out through the same nostril. Let's do this a couple of times just to kind of get used to it. Breathing in, slight pause at the top, just a tiny pause, and then breathing out. All the time through the nostril, not through the mouth. Breathing in and out of the mouth. Now, at one point, you will probably find that it's easier for you to close your eyes. This is a very welcome thing to do. You can do this type of breath with or without your eyes closed. So eventually you'll figure out what works for you. Obviously, when you close your eyes, it gives your body and it just removes all of the external stimulation from outside from the outside world, and you can just sort of drop into your internal state of being much easier. But if you don't want to close your eyes, don't close your eyes and practice it with your eyes open. So once you've done a few rounds of breath through your left nostril, very gently switching and pressing the pinky into the left nostril, opening the right nostril. Breathing in through the right nostril. Slight pause at the top and breathing out. All the way in and all the way out. And as you're doing this, please keep in mind that you don't really have to force anything. You don't have to really breathe at the top of your lungs and really squeeze every single ounce of breath or air out of your lungs. That's not the point. The point here is to breathe normally and easy through the left and through the right. So once you've done your right nostril, let's close the right nostril with the thumb and let's take a few more breaths in and out through the left nostril. Remember, easy breaths, small pause at the top, and an easy exhalation out through the nostril. And you can, after a while, as you're going through this, you can kind of start feeling your body sort of like starting to rock in and out, up and down as you're breathing in and you're breathing out. Let's switch to the other side. Couple more times. I usually tend to close my eyes when I do this breathing exercise. Any type of a breathing exercise just helps me sort of drop into my internal state of being. And then switching to the other side. We'll do one more round in this tutorial. And as you're doing this, you'll probably notice that it's easier for you to breathe through one nostril than the other. Obviously, if you're sick and you have a cold and your nostrils are stuffed up, probably not a good idea to do this exercise right now. But if you're healthy, it is perfectly normal to feel one nostril more open than the other. There's a natural cycle in our body that shifts or switches nostrils from one side to the other, usually every, I would probably say 5 minutes or so. So it's perfectly normal that on one day it's easier for you to breathe through the left nostril, and on the other day it's easier for you to breathe through the right nostril. So let's switch to the right side. So pinky closes the left nostril. Take a few more breaths. And remember, all this time you're trying to sit still. keeping your spine nice and tall. Let's close the right nostril. One breath through the left and breathing out through the left. Let's release the hands onto our laps. Let's take 3 regular breaths through both nostrils. In and out, just to feel the difference. And that's it. Now remember, this is a tutorial. You're probably not going to feel anything just by doing this tutorial. You actually have to do this consistently for at least 5 minutes. And this is why I invite you to follow the alternate nostril breathing video, where I guide you through the entire process for about 5 or so minutes, so that you can really drop into that state of natural calmness, natural centeredness, and feel really grounded and rejuvenated in your body and in your soul. So if you want to practice that, feel free to access the video right here or click the link in the description of this video. And if you like this tutorial, please like it and hit the subscribe button so that you won't miss any of my future tech savvy yoga content. My name is Kieran, and I'll see you around.